Okay, y'all, welcome back to the Lover's World mini-series. Today, I wanted to discuss love, loss, and just lessons that I learned while doing this album. I think what inspired the emotional part of this album was just me going through life, going through life, going through love, experiencing heartbreak, experiencing just being a father, just, my whole journey of just simply growing up, and just being an adult. I feel like as a child, you don't really have so much to worry about. It's only when you become an adult is where you start to really think like, oh shit, like life is really starting to life, and I think that's like super important for me, and what really made me think like, damn, like I'm getting older, I'm almost 30 years old, it's time for me to grow up. It's time for me to look at love a different way. It's time for me to adapt, because I want my son to be able to see that, his father is growing up, and I want him to learn a lot from me. Was there one person or was there a lot of people? I would say there was a few people that inspired this project. There was a few people that inspired different songs and stuff like that. Like I just kind of just wrote about everybody, I could literally write a song about anybody's life, and that's sort of how it's been for me, like I've been able to write about just about anything, and I think that's super important because you need that outlet. You need to be able to tell a story and be able to say how you feel. I think love has definitely changed how I see myself because before I was just letting just anybody do anything to me, letting just anybody disrespect me, in terms of like relationship wise, just being in a relationship with a woman and basically saying like, okay, all right, this is okay, like this is okay for her. It's okay for her to talk to me like this. And, but now it's just like, now I don't take too much shit. You feel me? Like I look at myself like a king. I'm willing to treat the right woman like a queen. And that's just how I look at things. I'm a king and I should be treated with respect. And in return, I'll treat that woman with respect, and that's just how it is. We got to be 50-50 with the respect, You respect me, I respect you. We need to be able to build each other up and not tear each other down. And that's something that I really had to learn. I have really had to learn about like just having peace and just learning to pick your battles, learning when to, go back and forth and or not go back and forth. Because that's not me. But just being able to be open, be an open book and not just I, and I definitely think that it changed how I view myself because I have self-love now. I love myself, so much that I'm not willing to just take what I took before. I'm not willing to just let a woman come in my life and disrupt my peace and treat me like I ain't shit, And I think that's super important with men, We get so accustomed to how a woman may treat us, how a woman might talk to us, that we don't think that we deserve better. And it's like we definitely do deserve better, and that's super important. I used that heartbreak to really just evolve as an artist, and that was something so important for me to do, because when I felt down, when I felt like, damn, like this shit ain't getting no better, like I feel like I'm down bad, and I felt like, damn, like there's nobody out there for me. There's like when I felt like this was it for me, I felt like I had to like pick myself up and say to myself, like, this is not the end. Like, this is not the end. And it's a hard pill to swallow, but I want to say that I did a great job with lifting myself up, like being my biggest fan. I had to really be my biggest fan. And that's something that is hard to do. Like in the moments where you feel like everybody is against you, it's hard. It's hard to just, be the only one supporting yourself. It's hard to just give yourself that pat on the back. It's hard, especially when you feel like the whole world is against you, when you feel like people are not there for you. What is a lyric on the album that really hit deep for me? I want to say one of the deepest songs on the album is You Are Not Alone, because I felt like for that song, it was so R&B and it was so emotional. I would say on that song where I said, can't let the moment pass, just want to say that I'm thinking about you and all the things that we've been through. I feel like when we are in relationships, we don't think about we don't really value the person until they're really gone, and I feel like that was a song that really hit deep because, there was a relationship that I was in that I wish that I did things differently, because I think about that woman, I think about the woman, and I think about if things were different, how would they be, I think about them if I would have been more open, if I would have been if she had met me now when I have everything together right now, would things have been better? Would things have been good, cool? Because I felt like, despite everything, I felt like she loved me. I felt like I loved her. And I felt like, I had a child, she had a child. I felt like we really were connected, and I hate that now she thinks that it was just sex, because it was more than just sex for me. It was more than just sex for me. Like, I really loved that woman. Like, me and her, we had a friendship for years. Like, when I tell you, like, we were friends since before my son was born, And it's crazy. It's crazy how time can fly. It's crazy how you can be in a relationship with, like, a friend and, the relationship not work out, and then it's just like the friendship everything just goes out the window, and it just makes you think, damn, like maybe we should have just stayed friends, Maybe, who knows? Like, who knows that path and how different things would have been, could have been, you just never know. I'm in a great space today. I'm with a woman that really loves my child like her own, and who is patient with me, patient with my emotions, patient with me and me and my healing journey. I think that's super important when you get with somebody, and you're not fully healed, is to get with someone that can help with the healing process, and I thank her for being patient with me and patient with my emotions. And one of the things that really brought us together was her respect and her love for my son, at a time that, my son was lacking that from his mom, and it felt really good to be with a woman that loves my son down, and that was the important thing for me. Like, you don't treat my son right, and the signal is lost, like I'm out. It's a lot to like find someone that like you really, really, can really understand. Understanding is just like totally, totally important when you are in a relationship in any kind of situation,